Hey, what is up everyone? I'm Blue the Macaw here from the likes of the Mutant Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Toy Story for the Super Nintendo / Sega Mega Drive or Genesis in America / PC and for the Game Boy. So last time we have managed to tackle through, I would say we did manage to went through, I would say, I think I've actually lost count of how many levels that we did manage to tackle through for this point, guys. I do apologize for that. Oh yeah, we've managed to able to explore 12 levels in that previous episode. And hold on just a moment, guys. I just need to fetch something quick. Okay, quick error right there because I have to fetch my drink quickly, just because it's once again it's going to be slightly hot outside today. So either way, today for this episode in particular is the fact that we might as well able to finish up the entirety of Toy Story. So as you can see, the next level we're going to be hitting to is Sid's Workbench, or in this case, yeah, it's Sid's Workbench, because obviously since we've now been taken by Sid Phillips, of course, you know, from the ones in the film, so either way though, there's not much else to it for this point. So I suppose there's some quite a few things worth noting for, is the fact that Nana, which appears to be Sid Phillips' sister, that she wasn't in the game for some reason, which I understand because she was on the film, so even then, no, there's not much else to it. And this is what the difficulty might able to start to ramp up ridiculously right now, because as you can tell, for the forms of Sid's Workbench, is the fact that unlike the ones in Ego Check level from the likes of Andy's house, this world, or this level rather, does manage to contain, if you fell down to the pit below, it's instant death this time around, because as a result, it's just gonna make things a lot more difficult than the previous stages for sure, and also there's gonna be a lot of hazards to avoid, like for instance there's no jigsing out fireballs and stuff like that, and it also has darts coming up from the ceiling when every time you pass by, and also there's gonna be bottomless pits that kills you instantly. So as a result, yeah, it can be really tricky and difficult if you're not knowing what to do here. So because of that though, expecting if you don't have the invincibility cheat code, basically you're going to die a lot for the sake of this level. And yeah, I seemed able to, you know, miss the actual grapple hook right here, so I guess that was entirely my fault, but oh well. Beggar cells can be choosers, I suppose, though, but hey. So a few things we want to explain about this today is the fact that obviously today's day is of course the 30th of July today, in this case in 2020, so naturally we've only got about 2 more days to go until when we get on to the next month, which is August. And yeah, as far as you might as well notice from the start though, is the fact that, actually I'll get into more details later, because here we go on to the last section in this whole entire level. And that's what it appears to be. Every time when Sid Phillips managed to able to utilize the magnifying glass on the actual Woody's forehead, basically you'd be automatically running, and as a result we need to keep on dodging those little purple yo-yos, if I recall correctly. And then when you're at it, you have to jiggle the actual D-pad controls either left or right. And however, here's the difficult part about this, is the fact that on the second section is actually a lot more tougher than the first, you know, for the first section of this ultra running segment. And then, again, if you don't have the invincibility cheat on, you're going to drain the lives a lot. So even then, I would expect this much. So anyways though, we have to, yeah, you're gonna have to keep pressing the left button most of the time, or even left or right, which does wonders of your thumb a little bit. So as a result, it does give you a lot of like thumb cramps every time whenever you do those segments. However though, if you reach to that cereal ball, that way you can able to continue where you left off. And of course, if you're feeling recklessness by going after the stars, but honestly, I'm just gonna ignore those for now. In fact, kind of think about it though, for that particular magnifying glass shining into Woody's forehead from the film, it almost kind of felt slightly similar to the ones in Ants, where basically that, for what I've noticed is that on Ants, that when Princess Paula did manage to catch up with some of the actual guards, basically that she managed to stumble across a giant magnifying glass. However, unlike Toy Story, that Sid managed to use the magnifying glass to burn Woody's forehead, whereas in Ants, that basically the magnifying glass will shine and reflect the actual ground, and then they'll kill insects, or bugs to be more precise. So something's worth mentioning, so because of that though, yeah. Anyways, onwards to the next level in this game, which appears to be Battle of the Mutant Toys. However though, good thing about it though is the fact that whenever we get onto the later stages, if you ever played the Game Boy version, that expecting that alongside with the final level in the whole game, that we're not going to discuss on this right now, because as a result, what was I going to say familiar? Oh yeah, you notice about the fact that yes, the marathons is no longer, it's not going to happen for the sake of this year, just because, obviously because we've been, you know, being busy lately, and also we need to wrap things up of some of the other games, specifically, you know, with Team Sonic Racing, which at this point, that Sonic will, or no, Deafy I should say, will eventually be able to come back into that game, until at some point until November, and also because of how the fact that, well, specifically recently, Mario and Sonic has recently finished up their Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 Let's Play recently, even though despite the fact that the actual Tokyo Olympic Games in 2020 sadly is no longer happening for the sake of this year, so just because of the, you know, the stupid COVID-19 stuff. I know you guys are probably thinking about the fact that, yes, we're going to keep saying this a lot for the majority of this year, unlike the ones in the previous year, that we have no issues with that whatsoever, so as a result, yeah, there's not much else to able to talk about this for the sake of clarity. But hopefully we'll get on to the next marathon and during at some point by the better year at some point, but we don't know exactly when though. Just because of how the fact that there are some other Let's Plays coming up, and especially noticeable how the fact that, well, for what I've noticed, that the majority of our Let's Plays for the sake of time just managed to go on down really quick, despite, you know, the amount of delays on certain uploading schedules, specifically, you know, in our part of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, for the sake of time, since Injury Forms have been last Friday, which, you know, came out, or actually, kind of think about it, it was actually 2 weeks ago on Friday, and as a result, that's, actually, I'll get into more on that later. Here's the last part of the Battle of the Mutant Toys, as you can see. We need to do some sort of a karate chop action with Buzz Lightyear, as you can see, and basically, we need to knock those little mutant toys down. Well, except for the baby face, as you can see right there, because every time you get hit by any other mutant toys, that are basically, that, although if you get hit by that baby face, as you can see on the left, basically, he will knock away from the left or something a little bit. But this is what most people find is a little bit difficult, just because you have to deal with the ridiculous amount of timing, as you can see from the, you know, from the start though, basically. So, regardless of such though, we have managed to accomplish it. So, as a result, it looks like Buzz is like, realized that he was not a space ranger, of course, so he was just a toy, which I think it was actually happens whenever when he managed to saw a Buzz Lightyear toy commercial in Sid's room, so, but you know, you get the idea for that little solution here, so, and since that Buzz is being kidnapped by Sid, by utilizing with that particular dangerous rocket, and before we get on to that, here we go on to this next level, which appears to be Roller Bob, which, unlike in the ones in the Game Boy version, this level does not exist in the Game Boy version. So because of that though, this level is pretty similar to Run Rex Run, except this is where the difficulty starts to ramp up a lot. Especially noticeable, as you can tell, there's going to be a lot of hazards, and most annoyingly is the fact that these rockets were able to shoot in a weird pattern. And also don't forget as well, that on the far left of the screen, there's going to be Scud is going to be chasing you, which either way though, if you get hit by Scud, the dog, which appears to be Sid's dog, basically you're gonna get hit, so yeah, just have to keep that in mind. So, as you can see, that we have to able to dodge a lot of stuff, including those little weird bomb projectiles, and as well as these little tin cans or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how could I describe those, but regardless of anything else though, is the fact that I couldn't imagine if I was trying to able to beat this level during the forms of my PAL copy of the game. But regardless, again, if you get a game over or something like that, assuming if you're able to get a password, then you can able to continue where you left off. So even then, at least you get that in the PAL version, because unlike the American version / the Genesis version, if you somehow don't get a password system, well, you're out of luck. So, although originally I was able to do the PAL version on my Mega Drive Mini, but unfortunately it's region locked, so as a result, unfortunately I can't seem to able to get access to it, so, but I digress. So, in the movie though, is the fact that Sid managed to get scared by these toys come to life, such as like, for instance, that whenever when Woody says like, so play nice, in a little bit of a moving face and stuff like that, I have to say though, yeah, it looks pretty satisfying for that specific move. But anyway, let's move on now to Daytona, which, yeah, I think that's what the level's called anyway. And this particular level is only existent in both the Mega Drive / Sega Genesis version, as well as the PC version. If those of you have ever played the Game Boy version and the Super Nintendo version, this level does not include it on Nintendo's platform. This is probably because, as you can see, we actually go into another different perspective, as you can see. Although, the only thing is though, is the fact that much like the buzz clip, or a buzz clip I should say, we still need to able to actually collect these little battery icons, or weirdly enough, it just gets like a little bit of electrical icons to collect. And I suppose if you do somehow manage to collect them, it adds your stars total count, if you manage to finish the level. But much like any forms of in a buzz clip, is the fact that obviously we need to make our way to the end of the level before the battery decides to drain. Because, you know, much like in a movie, it's the fact that whenever we get onto the RC car, it's the fact that it doesn't hold that much power level for the actual battery level. So as a result of that specific stuff, you always have to keep on rely on the forms of, you know, just trying to, you know, do a lot of like sharp turns or anything like that. And then once you get to this bit, that's how the level ends. So, pretty cool though, and I'm very glad that we actually come across into this level. Same applies on the PC version as well. So, but either way though, it's just I'm very glad that we actually got to that though. Apart from the Super Nintendo version and the Game Boy version, because again, that level does not include it on Nintendo's version. So, well, to be more specifically, you know, Light My Fire, which appears to be a spiritual sequel to, you know, a buzz clip, speaking of which, except now, it just makes things a lot more difficult because, first of all, there's going to be a lot of branching pathways that you can able to actually either take, and also, because of how the fact that there's going to be a lot of cones everywhere, as well as cars everywhere, which, again, every time you bump into any sort of obstacles or walls, you're expecting you're going to get knocked over by something. So as a result, and also keep an eye out with the meter this time around, because originally in a buzz clip level, that basically the actual battery meter doesn't drain as much, whilst in this level does manage to drain a lot this time around. So as a result, good thing about this though is the fact that those batteries seems to be in a pretty peculiar spot or something like that, so that way you can able to actually just to find them, and then if every time you found one, at least thankfully you don't have to worry about just trying to able to keep on knocking duplicates of Buzz Lightyears every time. But definitely a little bit difficult than the likes of how it does it since the very beginning, but hey, at least we managed to accomplish it. So either way though, and it looks like, oh yeah, by the way, it's the fact that Light My Fire was not included on the Game Boy version, just want to let you know. So anyways, let's hit on to, if I press my buttons, so here we go on to Rocket Man, not to be confused as the Elton John kind of song, but except the fact that it's basically, it's like, well, the final level of the game. So basically, this is by far one of the hardest levels of the game, probably because of multitude of things. For one, basically, we're gonna be doing a lot of flying, and also because we need to dodge a lot of hazards such as cars, as well as these little trees, and even especially noticeable with these traffic lights. However, here's the thing about this, is the fact that every time you collide into something, like for instance a back of the vehicle, such as for instance I accidentally just managed to got hit on that tree from the bottom, or from above I should say, and then basically that allows me to able to go down, like way down, to the actual vehicle from the back, and well, if you somehow get crushed, that's instant death. So, yeah, definitely one of the more difficult levels of the game. So, which to be expected because it's the end of the game, basically. And just like in a movie, it's the fact that, as you can tell, the actual dangerous rocket item has been, well, exploded in the actual thin air. Well, simply Buzz Lightyear just managed to use his wings to become like, well, just for flying with style. So, because if you know for the film already, so, but either way, there's not much else to it. So anyways, if you think this is over, oh wait, oh, I wasn't expecting that! I should pay attention to that. Oh well. Oh yeah, speaking of the amount of levels they actually contain, that's in between all 4 versions of the game, the Game Boy version does have lesser amount of levels, like I think they've got about 10 levels. And on the PC/Super Nintendo versions, that both contains 17 levels. And the Mega Drive version does have the majority of the levels, meaning that you can able to play through all 18 stages. So, something's worth pointing to mentioning about that specific stuff though, because, well, I just simply recognize the Mega Drive version a lot. Even I don't usually just manage to pick up the Super Nintendo version just for the sake of, well, the amount of rarity for, specifically, the amount of prices they can go through. So, son of a biscuit, I wasn't really reacting in time, I'm afraid. But, regardless of such, we'll try again. So, oh yeah, I suppose there's another thing I'd like to mention, is the fact that, when it comes to voice actors in, specifically in the Toy Story game, obviously, Woody's been voiced by, Tom Hanks' younger brother, which is of course Jim Hanks, and also Buzz Lightyear has been voiced by Pat Farley, which originally in the movie it was Tim Allen, and then Rex is being voiced by Wallace Shawn, which much like in the movie, and R. Lee Elmery, which is voiced as in Search. Like, I would say likely, you know, the Green Army Man or something like that. So, but either way though, it's strange. It's the fact that, usually relatively speaking, it's the fact that the Green, Search Man is never make a comeback in, Toy Story 4 for some reason, which I have no idea why that was there, like, if that was the case, but even then though, let me know in the comments below. And finally, the films of Corey Bolton is actually voiced the Little Green Man. And as far as I'm aware, is the fact that I'm pretty darn sure it's actually the exact same voice as in the ones in the movie. I'm not exactly 100% sure because, again, it has been a very, very long time since, you know, just anything else in that resides, I have to be honest here. So, but I digress. So, yeah, I think... Nah, no way. I was thinking of a little bit of a differency, I suppose, but I digress. I apologize for that little, awkward commentary for the sake of time, but anyway, now let's head up here, and basically, that's what the end of the level is gonna be like, and despite the fact I accidentally got hit by the top of the van, go all the way to the bottom, so just in case you don't get crushed into that moving van, which, in a movie, it just calls it Eggman? Wait a minute, that was before when Sonic Adventure, where somehow, Sonic managed to call Eggman Nega, oh, no, what am I talking about? Dr. Robotnik, Eggman. Why do I keep saying Eggman Nega? I keep thinking of Sonic Rush for some reason, but that, Eggman Nega is from the alternate dimension, in this case is Blaze's dimension, so... Anyways, so now we got ourselves another continue, and also the bonus game we can able to play around with. But it seems rather pointless now, because this is the final level in the game, so don't expect things to be quite rewarding as much as they used to be, so... And basically, in the end of the film, that's basically Woody and Buzz has now become best friends and stuff like that, and of course reunited with Andy, of course, and everything else goes all hunky-dory, even though despite the fact that they actually used this screenshot right there previously, because despite in the end of the film, that basically Andy and Andy's mom didn't manage to move into their new house. Oh wait, I forgot about Molly, the actual sister of Andy. Okay, I know it sounds a little bit rusty when it comes to knowing some things like that, but oh well. Anyway, so when you're done with the final level, then that's how the game ends. And along with that, very similar to Donkey Kong Country 1 and Donkey Kong Country 2, is the fact that, as you can see, we got ourselves an enemy roll call, or to be more specifically, the character's roll call, which, you know, it kind of reminds me of the visuals. The visuals in this game do kind of reminds me of like a Donkey Kong Country kind of vibes to it, except, well, it's a movie-time game, so as a result, yeah, let's give my final thoughts of, you know, Toy Story as far as the video game itself. I honestly would prefer the Mega Drive / Genesis version because it's more superior of the four, in my honest opinion, and also the visuals do look very, very good, even especially for its time, and especially noticeable. I honestly think that the music in the Mega Drive / Genesis version is actually way better for me, because I don't know if I'm actually feel a little bit mixed on the Super Nintendo soundtrack as well as you know, the PC soundtrack. But let me know in the comments below if what versions do you would prefer when it comes to Toy Story the video game. So as a result, the controls wise, it does take a while to get used to, especially noticeable with the actual momentum and stuff like that. And also the story itself follows the exact same storyline as the ones in the movie, so that's a huge plus in my book. And the gameplay itself is actually not too shabby either, even though the only gripe I have with the game though is probably too much difficulties going on, because as a result, in the beginning it might not be so bad, but when you get to likely, let's just say level 7 and onwards, oh man, you're gonna get a lot more recklessness that you might able to come across into. Yeah, it's also a rock mobile, as you can see, for that little Mutant Toys roll call, as well as the baby face that we've all recognized this little fella. So, yeah, as far as for what versions do I honestly prefer, I think I will still say the Mega Drive / Genesis version because, oh man, it's so good. Even though despite it gets a little bit tad difficult, along with the Lion King on the Mega Drive and all that stuff. And even especially noticeable with Mickey Mania, because I've never actually beaten Mickey Mania on my own time on the Mega Drive, as well as the Super Nintendo version, and heck, even the PlayStation version, even though the PlayStation version does manage to call it Mickey's Wild Adventure, which I'm not exactly sure why they call it that, but I digress. Actually, kind of think about it, this credit sequence does remind me of Sonic 3D Flicky's Island, almost, and unfortunately for the sake of time for this point folks, there's no background music sadly, but apart from those exciting things though, I actually had a really good blast to play on this game. Especially noticeable, I've now managed to got this on my Mega Drive Mini, despite I have to hack and stuff like that. Again, it's a little bit illegal, but apart from those exciting things though, I honestly don't care. But I digress. So this is me, Blue, the Macaw here, from the likes of the Maxi Toys, and I suppose that, I think some toys else are about to be ready to do, the next redo Let's Play at some point in next month or two. Well, to be more specifically next month, I should say. And that, we're going back to the past, although first of all, before they get into that, there's actually that one last game that some toys else are about to be doing a Let's Play of. Although, sure enough, it's going to be pretty short, but we'll see what happens, and during at some point until tomorrow, in this case the final day of July of 2020, as far as the actual month goes. So, but either way though, we'll just have to see what happens here, and we might as well have to wait for it. In fact, well, there won't be any spoilers from now on, because, well, we're just gonna keep you guys a secret. So because of that though, there's not much else to talk about, so I digress. So if you excuse me, I must fly up and talk to Jewel, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. So see you guys then. Ciao.